Trump seems completely lost on all of this, but his most ardent supporters are definitely not. I mean, they've spent the last 5 years steeped in every single detail of this case. And as the calls to release the Epstein files intensify, Trump is finding himself increasingly at odds with his own base with every day that passes. Now he's lashing out at his own supporters. I mean, this morning, Trump posted an absolutely bananas screed that you really have to read to believe it. I mean, first he called it the whole Epstein matter a scam and a hoax. Then he attacked his own voters who believed he would deliver on his promise, because they'd been told that he would, to actually release the Epstein files, saying, quote, "My past supporters have bought into this BS hook, line, and sinker. Guess who fed the BS? Others of your supporters." Then he went after his voters even more, essentially calling them stupid. "They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will," he said, accusing them of being conned by the lunatic left. Finally, he called his supporters weaklings and declared, quote, "I don't want their support anymore." All kinds of reminds you of a child pounding his fist because he wasn't invited to a birthday party, doesn't it? Or something like that. A child who has access to Truth Social or a social media site, I suppose. But the point is, this is all so unhinged, even for Trump, that some of his most vocal supporters initially refused to believe Trump had actually posted that himself. Guess they thought another person could perfectly replicate the all caps grammatically incorrect flow of Trump's posts? Who knows? That's what they thought, though. They questioned it. But any doubts they had went out the window when Trump repeated his outrage screed on camera in the Oval Office.
It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats, and some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work. They want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
They're stupid people. I mean, please. That's what he's calling his own supporters. It's always a dead giveaway, by the way, that you're coming a bit unwound when you start attacking the very people who ignored all of your other many flaws and still cast their votes for you. And just to give you a sense of how expansive the group is that Trump is calling stupid here, today Politico obtained internal Democratic polling that shows that 61% of Trump voters believe that law enforcement is withholding information about powerful people connected to Epstein. And public polling finds the exact same thing. I mean, a CNN poll found that only 4% of Republicans say they are satisfied with the information released about Epstein to date. And a Quinnipiac poll out today finds that 36% of Republicans disapprove of Trump's handling of the Epstein case. The YouGov poll also finds this was out yesterday, finds that 50% of Republicans think the government is covering up evidence about the Epstein case. Those are all the people Trump is calling stupid. He's effectively writing off somewhere between a third and half of his own voters. It's not even just rank and file supporters. They are important, too. Not just them he's calling stupid people. I mean, the list of people who have promoted the Epstein conspiracy include Trump's FBI director, Trump's deputy FBI director, Trump's vice president, his own adult son, just among a few. And they all had good reason to believe that releasing more information was exactly the plan. I mean, remember in February, Trump invited a group of his loudest online supporters to come to the White House for what he called the release of phase 1 of the Epstein files. He gave them all binders of documents, which turned out to just be full of documents that had already been made public, but he made a whole show of it. They all had the expectation that there was going to be a lot more coming. But then when a lot more did not come, some of his most loyal right-wing allies started turning on him. And that has only grown. I mean, just in the past 24 hours, InfoWars conspiracy theorist Alex Jones said Trump's threats to excommunicate his followers sounds like a thoroughbred cult. That's what he said. Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, posted a very long screed, you can see on the screen, on X, defending the MAGA fixation with Epstein. Joe Rogan is openly mocking the Trump administration's handling of all of this. All of this is in addition to previous criticism from other big Trump world figures like Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon and Laura Loomer. The people with huge megaphones in Trump's base are very, very mad. And this issue doesn't seem like it's going away anytime soon. In fact, we are still getting some new developments every single day. I mean, Trump keeps talking about it, so there's that. But Wired magazine also reported today that there appears to be 3 minutes of footage edited out of the Epstein security tapes that have already been released. NBC News reported that the family of Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell is appealing to Trump for help with her ongoing case. And amid all of that, Democrats are keeping the pressure level set too high. Just yesterday, Democrats forced a vote on an amendment to compel the Justice Department to release more information on Epstein. And that vote was blocked, of course, by Republicans. Not of course. I mean, these are some of the people from the same party where they're calling for more to be released. So they blocked it. They had.
He is using the power that he hopes he still has to say nothing to see here, that it's a hoax, that it's all the Democrats. He has been successful in trying to do that in the past and say, don't look here, look over here, to members of his base. But so far, he has not been successful on this issue. Kristen?
Yeah, Dan, I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. Just because President Trump himself wasn't the biggest proponent or perpetuator of these Epstein conspiracy theories, he did put 3 of the most vocal people who had said that they wanted to release this list into top jobs within his administration. Of course, being Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, and FBI Director Kash Patel. Now you see him completely backing away from this and also really doing it with a slap in the face to some of his most ardent supporters, people who have been waiting for the release of this list. I just want to read you what he posted this morning, because this is what really set it off. You can see how much angrier he's getting by the minute over this Epstein coverage. He said, my past supporters have bought into this, quote, bullshit, hit hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay, a couple of things to note here. This isn't just some fringe part of his base. There is a huge part of his base that believes that there are Epstein files that need to be released. We saw that when Charlie Kirk held his seminar over the weekend in Florida, and there were thousands upon thousands of people there cheering to release the files, cheering for Dan Bongino. You are seeing a real break here in the MAGA movement. Now, the question is, as you said, do they fall in line eventually? And we just simply don't know the answer to that right now. But I just want to read you a couple of the things he said in that meeting, because some of these are just so deeply insulting to the people who put him in office. He said at one point that foolish Republicans have fallen into the net of this Democratic, as he called it, Epstein hoax. He said at one point, I have lost a lot of faith in certain people who he said had pushed the Epstein, quote, hoax. This is what he's calling it. He said Republicans got duped by Democrats. At one point he said stupid Republicans and stupid people are focused on this. He also noted that if there was anything credible left to release, that the Attorney General should release it, and he kind of documents, and he praised Pam Bondi's handling of all of this. But if you listen to those words there, and you go back and you watch the tape of who exactly it was who was helping propel this messaging around Epstein, those are the people who got him elected, Dana. Those are the people who were out there every day on their podcasts, on various different shows, reaching out to parts of the country that were usually untapped for voters. Yep. Those are those people. And they reached those people, and they got them out to the polls, and they had an unprecedented win with certain voting blocks. And now you hear President Trump saying that these are stupid people who were duped, and that is clearly not going to sit well, despite where this ends, because obviously we can't, again, predict where this goes. But that is not the message that these people who helped him get elected want to hear.
He's telling off his own supporters, just to put it bluntly. That is what he is doing.
Look, I think for Donald Trump, you said it, Michael, he does not want this released, likely because of what's in it, whether that is because Donald Trump's in it or close associates or Donald Trump are in it. What we do know is that it relates to real victims, minors who were victims of sex trafficking at the hands of very wealthy men that were above accountability. And so whether that personally touches on Donald Trump or his associates, it's a narrative certainly that becomes hard for Donald Trump to speak about every day, particularly because we know there's evidence of his personal relationship with Epstein himself. And so, look, is it right? Do the American people deserve to have more information? Yes, I'm sure they do. What type of information? Ultimately, I think there are a lot of sensitivities around that. But I do know why Donald Trump wants to get off this topic as well, not just because of how it will force him into a corner and what he has to defend, but they are way off message. Look, you mentioned it, Michael. I'm in the middle of a campaign right now. I wake up every day talking about the affordability crisis, about the cost of insurance, about the taxes for first-time home buyers, about creating safe communities and fighting crime but not fighting communities, about providing multimodal transportation. Those are the answers that Democrats across the country right now are talking about in their races and in their home states. Republicans are talking about a sex crime that involves underage victims. If that is the conversation they're having with the American people right now, maybe it is the most important one. Certainly it could be, but it's not the message that Republicans want to be on right now.
I will remind us and remind our audience, Trump has denied any wrongdoing here. Here's where I think what David Jolly is saying about the affordability crisis and where people should be focused, and this is, which is for MAGA, this was about the fact that there were insiders so deep inside the U.S. government that they were willing to hide any secrets in order to protect their own power. The fact that Donald Trump had been one of those insiders, had in fact been the president of the United States, did not stop him from then repositioning himself once again as an outsider. So what I think is new here is the way that Democrats are seeing an opportunity for themselves to say, you know what? Let's dig a little bit deeper and ask who really has the power in Washington. Take a listen to what Senators Ruben Gallego and John Ossoff are saying out there on the trail.
And what we've seen so far is this president will always take care of his elite friends, whether it's pardons for his rich friends, whether it's tax cuts for the rich, and now making sure he's covering up the client list of Jeffrey Epstein.
You're seeing a lot of disappointment and consternation among the president's base, not just because of this Epstein matter, but because this is an administration that is passing legislation to support the elite and the wealthy, and that is failing to make good on a whole lot of its commitments.
This is getting brutal. Even at Trump at dinner time, he's getting interrupted as he's walking through hallways at events, at fancy places with dinner. Guys, it's madness. And Trump is goading it on. It's an utter losing it meltdown. Donald really seems to think that he can just scream at his base and quiet them. But here's what's really fascinating here. This has never really worked for Trump. It's never really worked like this. Donald fundamentally bends to the base. Yes, he is a cult leader, but it's like he created a Frankenstein's monster, right? And the monster is bigger than him now. And so we saw it in the past where he pushed Operation Warp Speed saying, I got you all the vaccines, I'm great, I'm awesome. His fans booed him. And then he never talked about it again. Really. Certainly not in front of big crowds. He might mention it in certain focused interviews on particular issues, but he basically dropped that as a point of pride instantly. And so for the first time ever, Trump is saying, no, I'm going to fight back against my base because this is existential to him, because I think he probably is mentioned in the files in some capacity, and they are not taking it well. And there have been direct and indirect attacks on him, insults thrown to him at dinner time and at other places. And this, guys, it's so much worse than it could have been. Donald, for the first time in his political career, has lost his base. This has never happened before. And guys, cults are very strong, but they're also brittle. They don't break very often, but when they break, they shatter.